Please welcome Ms. Samantha Purcell, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Samantha. Good evening, Mrs. Ratner, Mr. McKinney, members of the Board of Education, special guests, parents, teachers, and friends. It is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Roshni Dada.
Welcome, Mrs. Ratner, Mr. McKinney, members of the Board of Education, Mr. Geiger, Mrs. Acosta, faculty, family, and friends. Can you believe this day is finally here? We are gathered here today to celebrate the graduating class of 2018. When I first walked in here, I was a girl with perky pigtails and a smile always on my face. Today, as I walk out of Columbia Middle School, I am still that girl with a smile always on her face. But I have grown and changed in many ways. Columbia has shaped me and has helped me find my identity, as I am sure it has for almost all of the students sitting beside me. It has taught me many life lessons, ones that I will remember for years to come. Today, I am here to tell you about my journey. My adventure here at Columbia has been a series of twists and turns. In 6th grade, the plane taxied on the ground as we all walked in here for the very first time. We had no idea what was next as my peers and I first walked the frightfully scary halls of Columbia. What was next for our future? Our minds were filled with questions and our hearts were filled with hope. Our teachers were the flight assistants on board, guiding us through a new year at a new school. One thing I remember in 6th grade was getting to teach our own lesson. Here, we experienced what it was like to be captain, to control your own plane. By the end of 6th grade, the plane was almost steady in the sky, with very little turbulence. We truly understood what our middle school life would be like. Each of us had formed our own friend groups, and we had fallen into a comfortable daily routine. In 7th grade, the plane had a bumpy ride in the sky, with a lot of turbulence. This year was a very important year for everyone, especially for me. The year started off with a big bang, and our workload increased significantly. Many tears were shed, and many meltdowns took place. We still managed to find a way to have fun through the midst of all the stress. One of my fondest memories of 7th grade was Mrs. Bowling's algebra class. Many of my friends were in my class, and it was always a class I looked forward to at the end of a long day. 7th grade was a roller coaster of emotions, but ultimately the ride was sweet. In 8th grade, the plane started to land. We came into the school year expecting it to be the same as last year. Oh boy, were we wrong. I was piled under mountains of homework and mounds of stress. I'm pretty sure my mom grew a few more gray hairs. It was all worth it though, especially when I earned those prized Justin Bieber stickers from Mr. Marks. This year has been amazing, filled with many fond memories. The volleyball game reminded me of my scary hallway days as I came face to face with some of my past teachers. 8th grade was by far the most enjoyable year of middle school, and I will always hold it close to my heart. This year, I have developed hopes for my future and a plan on what to do next. I now have a path to follow, as I am sure all of the students sitting beside me have as well. I wish all of my fellow students good luck as we venture into a new part of our lives. I would like to thank all of the teachers at Columbia. Without you, my journey would have been incomplete, and I would not be the person I am today. Most of all, I would like to thank my mom and dad, who were always there for me when I needed a hug, and my grandfather, who was and still is my biggest fan and supporter, even from the sky. I also want to thank my little sister, who kept me sane through all of the craziness. I want to take a moment to remind each and every person sitting in this room to look out of your plane window once in a while and remind yourself that you have a sky full of endless possibilities. Never forget your dreams and never stop believing. Always remind yourself that you have the power to do the impossible, and never, ever forget that you have the power to dream. Today, we are all venturing into a new part of our lives, filled with endless possibilities. My final words to each and every person sitting in this room are, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a simple step. Thank you.
Nicely done, Roshni. Thank you. It is my honor to introduce Mrs. Judith Ratner, Superintendent of Schools.
Can we just give Roshni another round of applause for an outstanding job? This is such an exciting day, and I feel extremely fortunate to be sharing this special day with all of you. You, the Columbia class of 2018, have accomplished much throughout your years at CMS. In the last 3 years, you have forged a path for the students who will follow in your footsteps through the same halls. You have faced every challenge with perseverance, even attending school on a Saturday, and now you are being honored. Today is the start of an exciting new phase of your educational career, and I am confident that you will continue to make your mark. As you move on to the next chapter of your life, I would like to challenge you to be the finest representatives of Columbia Middle School ever. I challenge you to pursue your dreams. I believe the key to realizing a dream is to focus on its significance and your plan to get there. With perseverance, faith, and luck, truly incredible things will happen for you. I challenge you to do one thing at a time. Give each experience all your attention. Try to resist being distracted by other sights and sounds, other thoughts and tasks. I challenge you to always choose to do the right thing. Nothing is worth sacrificing your integrity. I challenge you not to be discouraged by a failure. There are no secrets to success. It comes from preparation, hard work, and learning from those failures. I challenge you to always find meaning in what you do and enjoy life on a daily basis. Always remember to seek newer and more rewarding experiences. I challenge each of you to always be kind. Remember, no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. I challenge you to follow your heart and your instincts. I hope you find the courage to continuously seek new opportunities. I challenge you to laugh often. Be yourself and share your talents and your humor. I challenge you not to waste time by living someone else's life. Don't let other people's opinions drown out your own inner voice. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. I challenge you to be excellent. This is not an easy task. In order to be excellent, you must require more of yourself. I have seen what you have been able to do thus far and have every confidence that you can achieve excellence. I challenge you to continue to find friends who you can truly treasure. Always remember that great friends are hard to find, difficult to leave, and impossible to forget. I challenge you to create special memories every day. Remember that those memories are the most beautiful images our minds can paint, and nothing can ever erase them. And most importantly, I challenge you to truly recognize the important people in your life. Throughout your life, you have been guided by your parents, grandparents, siblings, friends, and teachers. They are here tonight in order to share in your achievement and to celebrate you and all of your accomplishments. When this ceremony is over, please take a moment to tell them how important they have been in making you the person you are today. Enjoy the times that you share and allow them to continue to influence you. You spent the last 3 years working toward this moment. Choose to remember the good times you have in common with your fellow classmates, to build on the foundation of respect and affection that you have shared for the 3 years you have all been together. I hope that when you choose to think back on your days at Columbia, you remember them as the best of your life, and yet know that the best is yet to come. My wish for you is that you meet my challenge and become the finest graduates of Columbia Middle School. On behalf of the entire CMS community, I wish each of you the happiness of a productive life, the respect of others, the love of your family and friends, and continued success. May the future be yours. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Doug Reinstein, President of the Board of Education. Mr. Reinstein, the students before you have completed the requirements of the Berkeley Heights School District, and therefore it is my honor to recommend that they be certified by you to be awarded their middle school diploma.
Good evening and congratulations to the class of 2018. Having had a chance to attend your award ceremony last week and talking with some of your staff, I truly have an appreciation for how distinguished this class really is, whether it be in the classroom, in the arts, and on the ball field. Let today's middle school graduation be just one small step on your educational journey, and let your high school experience take you on a path of your own choosing, wherever that path might be. On behalf of the entire Board of Education, we wish you the best of luck in high school. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mrs. Ratner. Thank you, Mr. Reinstein. Awarding of the diplomas this evening will be assisted by Ms. Samantha Lugo and Ms. Emma Bugelli.
I'm already here. You don't have to say that.
Thomas D'Annunzio. Ivy Ng. Malika Chandakar. Andrea Cifelli. Aiden English. Katie Wang. Carly Chin. Renee Lee. Carrie Riley. Vihan Subramaniam. Lindsay Vreeland. Lana Diaco Janakis. Danielle Kang. Jessica Lishway. Jack Sergio. Alexandra Tenenbaum. Kelly Williams. Hiba Ayub. Jillian Ham. Alexander Pitt. Kiana Robinson. Caitlin Paluota. Aiden Forrester. Jason Rosenberg. Lily Siska. Rebecca Stein. Elena Timmerman. Ian Black. Aaron Huang. Logan King. Grace Liu. Brianna Mendez. Robert Murphy. Grace Kaur. Vivian Reed. Jamil Syens. Thank you, Mr. Reinstein. Dr. Cristanino, would you join us, please? Jake Woods. Tomas Burke. Sean Dyer. Ella Ferrigno. Isabel Giacovini. Elizabeth Nee. Eliana Proano. Hillary Shee. Lauren Paprocki. Tanya Banzari. Matthew Garcia. Kalila Islane. Kristen McConaughey. Kevin Loiza. Matthew Lee. Abigail Pereira. Sebastian Salazar. Drew Schiller. Christina Simbukis. Julia Byrne. Frankie DeMuzio. Tara Lake. Alexander Yu. Samantha Purcell. Tristan Mikowicz. Christopher May. Evan Gorney. Tyler Watsky. Daniel Bass. Matthew Genoa. Liam Hibbs. Christopher Marinko. Nicholas Wimet. Thank you, Dr. Crisanino. Mr. Jansuli, would you join us, please? Ryder Zimmerman. Douglas Schuler. Jose Morales. Andrew Rampalpino. Aiden Robinson. Gabriel Piccinini.
Kimberly Chang. James Gallick. Cosmo Pedicini. Ryan Wonka. Selma Abdallah. Allison Cabe. Ashley Kim. Helen Liu. Patrick Tulo. Elizabeth Chin. Alexander Fudena. Lauren Lang. Abby Miller. Sarah Zalis. Carly Tulo. Catherine Agafanova. Rebecca Chuba. Simone Amkraut. Thank you, Mr. Ciansuli. Miss Riley, would you join us, please?
Good evening, welcome. Thanks for coming. Here you are.
Roshni Dada. Sebastian Gratson. Joyce Huang. Lillian Stewart. Jake Barbieri. Jessica Gualman. Emma Liu. Emily Merriman. Matthew Nardone. Tyler Prado. Samantha Rowenbach. Sophia Somis. Alexander Azevedo. Aaron Chahill. Harry Goldstein. Mary Kane. Alexander Moon. Andrew O'Brien. Madison Santori. Isabella Stravoyu. Sasha Ratishev. Hannah Rose Solis. Alexandra Azevedo. Shay Brigowski. Ella Sponheimer. Joshua Sun. Melanie Kumarshak. Michael Tomich. Thank you, Miss Riley. Mr. Smalley, would you join us, please?
Good evening, sir. Thanks for coming.
Frederick Huggins. Alexander Watson. Sky Martin. Brandon Lim. Peyton Irvin. Nathan Leposki. Nishka Narang. Kyle Savino. Nicholas Gold. Philip Kusafis. Reagan DeMarco. Emily Skinner. Jaden Riggy. Tasso Canelos. Olivia Magliacano. Gabriella Liriano. Joe Riggy. Olivia Gorney. Reagan Hopek. Sarah Davy. Alyssa Batone. Andrew Wilson. Jason Schultz. Brooke Jory. Bryce Facey. Sean Harder. Aaron Jin. Charles Santori. Brian McGrath. Daniel Koziel. Brian Dolinik. Samantha Rowenbeck. Lugo.
Careful, Sam.
Emma Bugelli.
That was Emma Bugelli and Samantha Lugo. What a wonderful job. Students, you all did such a wonderful job. Please stand one more time and be recognized. Please welcome Mr. Robert Nixon, Principal of Governor Livingston High School.
Good evening. As the principal of Governor Livingston High School, I would first like to congratulate our 8th grade students from Berkeley Heights on all that you've accomplished. You've made your parents and teachers very proud. I would also like to welcome the class of 2022 to Highlander Country. We are proud of our program at Governor Livingston, and we sincerely hope it will inspire you to be the best that you can be. With that in mind, we look forward to seeing you in September up on the Hill. Have a safe and enjoyable summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nixon. We are going to pause for one moment while we assemble our Columbia Middle School Commencement Ensemble. If you'll give us one moment, please. That was terrific. Thank you. Students, you may take your seats. While the students are exiting and taking their seats, I'd like to thank Mr. Culinary and Mr. Ellis, as well as Dr. Sempepos and Mr. Clayton for assisting this evening with all the music. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Miss Regan Peck.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Ratner, Mr. McKinney, members of the Board of Education, Mr. Geiger, Mrs. Acosta, faculty, family, and friends. Thank you for joining us at this 8th grade graduation to celebrate our accomplishments. Middle school has been great, but I would like to share my experiences with you. My journey through middle school has been similar to gymnastics competition, something I personally love to do. 6th grade was very terrifying to me, as it's the first event in the competition. I didn't know how to open my lock, and I didn't know where anything was. Although the first week was tough, the second week became much easier, which is like the second event of the competition. You are nervous, but start to get into the swing of things. Since I had done sports from younger years, it made it easier to transition, knowing I already had friends from other schools. Joining clubs such as speech team and Spanish club really helped me experience the impact you can have on CMS. Peer leadership also gave me great feelings through helping others and raising money for charities. 7th grade was like going into the last 2 events of the competition. I knew where everything was, so I wasn't nervous. I knew how to open my lock and was brave meeting all of my teachers. It felt like I was in the middle of everything. It's like a gymnastics meet, when you're already halfway done, but continuing the momentum with the floor passer vault. An amazing opportunity in 7th grade was being able to represent CMS in basketball. We also went to the Edgar Allan Poe play, which was really interesting to see how we related it back to what we were learning in class. One last memory from 7th grade was hosting a field day for our grade and using the leadership skills we had already learned. Entering 8th grade, I was full of energy and excited to be a leader at CMS to my fellow peers as well as those in younger grades. It came to a halt in October when I experienced a tragedy. With the support of the Columbia Middle School community, I was able to get back into my routine. The support I had received enabled me to engage back into both sports and academics. The time has finally come. 8th grade is the award ceremony of the gymnastics competition. We celebrate our victories and learn from our tough losses, but do you know what? We all made it through middle school. The Poconos trip was a true class bonding experience that none of us will ever forget. And although the students did not win, I still enjoyed the volleyball game against the teachers. The big pictures in the yearbook and the mural are small moments that were part of a bigger experience in Columbia. This 8th grade year was an interesting, exciting, and fun year. It is the end of our middle school journey, but we have a brand new competition coming up, Governor Livingston. As we all enjoyed the experience of middle school, we go as one big supportive team to the high school. As Bobby Unser once said, success is where preparation and opportunity meet. I interpret this quote to mean, if you don't prepare to succeed, when the opportunity comes, you won't be ready. This is applicable to the future for all of us. If we prepare well, we will get to go to a college of our choice. Work hard and focus on what can happen. It's like gymnastics or any other sport. I would like to thank all teachers in all 3 grades, coaches, and club leaders, because each faculty member provided a different learning experience for everyone. I would especially like to thank Ms. Dolan, because she has been with our grade through the thick and the thin. Congratulations to my 2018 fellow graduates. We have all made it through Columbia, and we're ready for high school. We have grown physically, emotionally, and academically. We are ready to take all the opportunities we have prepared for. Believe in yourself and your abilities. Gold is in our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Regan. So well done. Wonderful job. Folks, didn't they do a great job today? I'd like to start my remarks by thanking the PTO for providing refreshments today and welcome you all to 8th grade promotion. Students, can we ask our teachers and staff to stand and be recognized? Teachers? Thank you for all that you do. We are very lucky to have such a talented and dedicated team. Mrs. Acosta, would you please stand? Thank you for another great year. How is it possible that this year has gone by so quickly? Seems like yesterday we were arriving early on Saturday to open school. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to begin by sharing a secret, an accomplishment of mine that I have found that makes me unique, something I admit, even with Mrs. Ratner sitting in the audience, I have never included on my resume. You see, back in the 70s, that's 1970s, I earned a certificate that is quite rare. I am a State University certified ice cream manufacturer. Thank you. I thought with today's heat, that might bring you some comfort. Students, it may seem like a stretch, but it was your actions this year that made me recall a valuable lesson I learned during my time at Rutgers when I completed that course. You see, it was in this class that I met a couple from California who brought with them to Rutgers a very startling idea. It seems that back in the 70s in California, they were mixing Oreo cookies into the vanilla ice cream. Up until that day, it was unheard of in the state of New Jersey. Being in the manufacturing business, I ran back and shared this revolutionary idea with my uncle, who tasted the creation and loved it. But when he looked at the cost of producing such a thing, he said, the only way to make this affordable would be to pack it in pints. Who is going to buy just a pint of ice cream? When I began to object, he stared me down and said, the flavors we make are enough. I recall questioning at the time, is there ever really enough? Also in 1908, Henry Ford became famous for his cars, and millions of them were painted black. For a full decade, Mr. Ford decided one color was enough. Also in 1908, a company named Hydrox created a sandwich cookie in a single flavor that I suppose they thought would be enough. Cars we know now are available in a vast array of colors. But what you may not know, that it was the Oreo cookie that was the one who survived and put Hydrox out of business. How did they do it? They decided one wasn't enough. And now there are over 100 different flavors of Oreos around the world. Thank goodness my uncle did not work for Nabisco. Ladies and gentlemen, you recall when this group of fine young people decided to join a national movement and stage a walkout of classes in order to share a moment of solidarity with the people of Florida. More than 200 students left class, proceeded to the gym, and listened quietly while a dozen students spoke for 17 minutes about school safety, kindness, and promising a better future. It was quite a scene, and they owned it. The setting included a slideshow. I had an idea to include an introductory slide before it began. When I asked a student what to put on that slide, he turned to me and said, #enough. It was that word that made me think back to my own youth. That's the word, isn't it, students? That word enough, in fact, could be the word that defines your generation. But before you take it on, let's put it in perspective. In my lifetime, enough hasn't always sometimes meant enough. You have learned that in our brief American history, men and women of each generation have stepped forward and declared enough. enough war, enough poverty, enough inequality, enough hate, enough bullying, and even after declaring in fairly bold language, enough school violence, it continues. So the question goes to you today, 8th grade. How will you define enough? And when faced with the choice of allowing something to happen or not happen, how will you decide what exactly is enough? It won't be easy. Students, in a very few years, your world will begin to expand beyond Berkeley Heights. But let's put aside that huge sphere for now and think about the people that are with us today. Your teachers, your family, your neighbors and friends that sit beside you. These are the people who have gotten you to this point in time in your life and who will be there in the near future when important decisions need to be made. From these people will come your influences, your goals, your aspirations, and unfortunately, the pressure you and your friends will need to overcome at times. Students, your teachers know you are ready enough for the next year's challenges in the classroom. Mrs. Dolan, Mrs. Acosta, and I hope you are prepared enough for the other challenges that come your way. And I know I speak for your families when I say you have people in your lives that love you, who wish you always to have more than enough of the good things in life, enough perhaps to share with those you find in your life who just don't have enough. You will need to keep working hard. Leonardo da Vinci said, knowing is not enough. Being willing is not enough. We must do. We must do. But have faith, folks. This year's class are a class of doers. Let's meet two of them, shall we? I'd like to ask Samantha Lugo to stand one more time. Sam? Surprise. Samantha was one of the students who assisted in defining the school walkout. She spoke to her peer group about making schools safer, but talked not about the hardware that you find in schools, like locks and closed doors, but about how people, young people in particular, need to be more empathetic and mindful of each other. She wrote, "If we can learn to respect others, we can keep these devastating events from happening again." Samantha was also instrumental in creating the 8th grade mural this year. Samantha, I want to thank you for all you've done for Columbia Middle School. I hope you continue to spread your positive messages wherever life takes you. Thank you. You may be seated. Nishka Narang was a mural artist as well. Nishka, where are you? Nishka, our audience members do not know that each year I have a moment with our artists to discuss the various elements of what is included in the mural. Mr. Lonnie, of course, is very much involved as well. I recall when I asked you what the mural represented to you, do you remember? And you replied, all of this represents the topics and questions we think about each day. Nishka, I know that not everything you and your peers think about every day could have been included on the mural. But it's worth noting for the audience that all of the students agreed on including the words, enough is enough. Nishka, if I could grant you a wish and all of your friends, it would be that you and the others on the stage find the answers to all your questions and that those answers have the impact I know you all will work so hard to share. Thank you, Nishka. You may be seated. And to each of you seated here tonight, let me share my best wishes for all the good things that the world has to offer. And if we meet again in the future, and I ask you, how is life? You respond by saying, Mr. Geiger, I can't get enough. Thank you all. Mrs. Ratner, Mr. McKinney, I present to you Columbia Middle School's graduating class, promoting class of 2018. We'll put them in the office just in case.
Yep, and we're doing an email blast too, so I'm sure they'll